Hello, everybody. My name is Charity Counts. I'm the Executive Director of the Association of Midwest Museums. I'm a white woman with fair skin and dark hair. I'm joining you from my home office. It's got blue walls, white doors, a chair, and then a painting on a wall with a woman with her head in her hand. Thank you for joining us today for the 2021 Promising Leadership Award Virtual Community Celebration in honoring this year's recipient, Samantha Sauer. Before we begin our program, I'd like to invite Carmen Hillenberg to offer a land acknowledgement on behalf of AMM. Carmen?
Thank you, Charity. Hello, my name is Carmen Hillenberg, Collections Manager at the Evansville Museum of Art, History, and Science in Evansville, Indiana. I'm also a member of the Board of Directors with the AMM, and this year I have the privilege to serve on the award committee. In this era of virtual meetings and digital spaces may substitute our physical sense of place, it is important to redirect our attention to the land we each occupy in the moment and honor the Indigenous people who have called it home. Because I'm located in Southwestern Indiana, I invite you to join me in acknowledging the communities of the Miami, Peoria, Quapaw, Shawnee, Osage, and Kickapoo tribe, and their elders, both past and present, as well as future generations. I wish to recognize the strength and resilience of these and all Indigenous peoples who have endured and continue to steward the land that I'm privileged to call home. In spite of the devastation of their land and lives as a result of colonialism, the misrepresentation of their cultures and heritage across time, including by museums, and the ongoing struggle to be recognized in contemporary narratives. Please also consider this acknowledgement a commitment from AMM to continue to reach out to and learn about the many Indigenous communities and cultural centers located with connections to the Midwest region. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmen. I have a few housekeeping notes before we begin the program. First, all of you are welcome to have your video on if you choose, but please keep your audio muted until we prompt you to unmute at different points in the program. This event is an opportunity for all of us to celebrate our recipient, but also to learn more about them and their work. Please feel free to comment or ask questions in the chat as we go along, and we'll get to those as soon as we can in the Q&A later in the program. We encourage you to react through the whole event. There are different ways to do that. There will be times when we're inviting audible applause, which means we'll ask you to unmute and cheer loudly for Samantha and everybody on the team at the Illinois College. But you can also use your reaction tool. So in the menu at the bottom of your screen, you'll see reactions and you can give thumbs up or clap, cheer through that. You can also respond in the chat, snap your fingers, clap without your audio on, lots of different options for you today. Just remember that we can see you or your responses, even if we can't hear you. Finally, we have an ASL interpreter with us today. You can pin or drag and drop that interpreter to a different location on your screen. I think you should be able to do that, although we are spotlit today. If you have questions about how to do that, feel free to comment in the chat. And we've also enabled live transcription, which you can turn on or off with your CC button on your screen. For those of you who are new to AMM or maybe getting to know us for the first time at this event, I'd like to provide a little bit of background on our organization and also this awards program. Founded in 1927, AMM is one of the very first museum associations in the United States. Our focus for the last 94 years has been on connecting individuals and organizations within our profession and supporting their work through capacity building programs and resources. We serve an 8-state region, but our membership extends far beyond the Midwest. And our community includes a variety of different types of museums and historic sites, cultural organizations, science centers, and so on. The past 2 years have been challenging, but also invited creativity on many levels. The AMM Awards program is no exception. For decades, we have offered an in-person awards program at our conference. And as a result of the pandemic, we seized the opportunity to try something completely different in 2020, obviously going virtual. We piloted a new awards program format last year and have decided to keep it around, these virtual community celebrations like the one you're at today. This will be an ongoing element of our awards program. It is a joy for us to be able to celebrate today's recipient and all of our 2021 honorees through a series of virtual celebrations that bring together their peers in the museum community, as well as their staff, colleagues, family, and friends, and other members of their team or their communities that they would like to celebrate with. Thank you all for joining us today. I'd now like to take a moment to just acknowledge all of our guests and guests of honor today joining us. First of all, of course, Samantha Sauer, Illinois College archivist at the Khalaf Al Habtoor Archives, curator of the Findley Congressional Office Museum, and assistant professor of history at Illinois College. Also joining us is President Barbara Farley of Illinois College, Dr. Jenny Barker-Devine, Joe Ritter, an Illinois College alum, and hopefully soon, we do have Abby Garrett, current student at Illinois College. I also see that we have other members of the AMM Board of Directors beyond Common here with us today. If you're out there and you haven't already introduced yourself in the chat as one of our AMM board members, please do so. We're glad you're here. And finally, I'd like to introduce Eli Ball, founder of Midway Spark, a software development company based in St. Louis and sponsor of our 2021 awards program. Midway Spark is focused on providing affordable, cutting-edge technology to nonprofit organizations. This includes Prismatic, a cloud-based museum management solution. Eli has been an active member and participant in the Midwest Museums community, particularly in the last year, and we're grateful that he and the Midway Spark team provided the resources necessary to make this virtual series possible. Please unmute and join me in a round of applause and appreciation for their support, and to welcome Eli to say a few words.
Thank you, Charity. I am very fortunate enough to live in St. Louis and actually very close to Illinois College. I've actually been there before. And I know how vibrant of a community is. And thank you, Samantha, for continuing your work to make it more vibrant and all the leadership that you've provided. And we're very grateful to be able to sponsor and show our appreciation for your work. Thank you.
Thanks, Eli. I now pass the mic back to Common to get the awards presentation started.
All right, here comes the best part. All righty, thank you, Charity. The Promising Leadership Award recognizes the commitment and service of individuals, paid staff, interns, or volunteers in the early stages of their museum careers who have demonstrated leadership prowess through the implementation of projects or through service to teams or departments. This year, recipients of the Promising Leadership Award is Samantha Sauer. Samantha is truly a jack of all trades. She is an archivist, curator, and assistant professor of history at Illinois College in Jacksonville, Illinois. She has brought incredible energy to transforming the Khalaf Al Habtoor Archives and the Paul A. Findley Congressional Office Museum into essential campus and community resources. In crafting and fulfilling her vision, Sauer demonstrates an unparalleled level of professionalism and intentionality, creating student-centered projects to explore campus history, highlight diverse collections and voices, and build institutional capacity. Her sustained pattern of excellence in leadership for nearly 6 years and leadership prowess in curricular development, co-curricular activities, and campus community engagement exemplified the spirit of the Promising Leadership Award. Prior to joining the team at Illinois College, Samantha earned a terminal degree in historical administration from Eastern Illinois University. During this time, she managed a departmental and institutional donor special collection and co-curated the exhibition Building Memories, Creating a Campus Community. Samantha gained hands-on experiences as a curatorial intern at Mount Holyoke College at the Joseph Allen Skinner Museum, then served as a collections management intern at Stratford Hall a 1738 Georgian great house in the northern neck of Virginia, where 4 generations of the Lee family and their enslaved community lived, including 2 signers of the Declarations of Independence, Revolutionary War hero Light Horse Harry Lee and his son, Civil War General Robert E. Lee. Samantha also served as the Monticello intern in museum education at the Illinois State Museum and museum educator at the Museum of Discovery in Little Rock, Arkansas. During this time, she was recognized as an emerging innovator by the American Alliance of Museums for connecting the museum's natural and cultural heritage collections to hands-on STEAM programs and exhibitions. Samantha has accomplished many things in her career to date, and we couldn't be more proud to have her among our Midwest museum community. At this time, I invite everyone with us today to unmute or use the Zoom reaction icon to join me in a round of applause to honor our Promising Leadership Award recipient, Samantha Sauer. Thank you, Samantha. And I now turn the program over to you and your team at the Illinois College.
Thank you, Carmen. Before I begin, I would just like to share a brief land acknowledgement statement as well. So I'd like to take a moment to personally acknowledge the Indigenous peoples who have historically been and continue to be stewards of the land. Because I am located in Jacksonville, Illinois, I invite you to join me in acknowledging the Sauk, Kickapoo, Sauk and Fox, and Peoria communities, their elders, both past and present, as well as future generations. In addition to giving our respect for these and all Indigenous peoples and ancestors of this place, this acknowledgement is also a commitment from myself to continue to personally learn about and connect with the many Indigenous communities and cultural centers in the region. Thank you. And thank you, Charity and Common and everyone who has gathered in this Zoom room, including several of my very good colleagues at Illinois College. And so before I continue to share my remarks this afternoon, I would like to invite them to share this afternoon as part of this program, beginning with Illinois College President, Dr. Barbara Farley. Dr. Farley?
Thank you very much, Samantha. And thank you, Charity and Common. It is just really wonderful to be with everyone today and to celebrate the amazing talent that is Samantha Sauer. It is no small challenge to undertake the organization and management of the archives of an institution that is approaching its 200th year of existence. An educational institution, no less, which is a document generating juggernaut. Illinois College is unique in that we are fortunate to also have the Paul Findley Congressional Office Museum on our campus, which houses the collection of our alumnus, former US Congressman Paul Findley, in one of our historic buildings. Samantha Sauer, archivist of the Khalaf Al Habtoor Archives and curator of the Paul Findley Congressional Office Museum at Illinois College since 2016, is among the most dynamic, creative, and innovative faculty members I've worked with, and most deserving of this terrific recognition of her work and her promise for the future. Under Samantha's leadership, the campus collections have evolved into engaging learning laboratories, providing hands-on opportunities for students to gain experience with managing vast collections of historical resources, visual literacy, information literacy, data entry and inventories, verbal communication, written communication, operating software and technology, working independently and working collaboratively as part of a team. She has demonstrated a deep commitment to increasing access to inclusive campus and community collections with a focus on addressing inequities in these collections. Samantha works collaboratively with the campus community to expand preservation initiatives and to increase access to digital collections with the goal of connecting local and global audiences of all ages with these unique Illinois College resources. She has designed and implemented innovative and award-winning campus and public educational programming that utilize our collections, particularly the Paul Findley Congressional Museum collections and Mr. Findley's collections focused on his entire life and work. If for any of you, and I don't imagine this is a thought that many of you have, but perhaps people beyond this collection, if archives connotes something of a deserted space, know that Samantha has created something entirely different. The Illinois College Archives is a living space, one in which future historians and archivists, writers, museum curators, and political scientists are learning their craft. She has facilitated the creation of a replica of the office of Congressman Paul Findley as a museum space in which IC students and others from the Jacksonville community can interact with the artifacts of his long and distinguished career. Samantha Sauer exists squarely at the intersection where history meets humanity, and she facilitates so much good work at that important place. Thank you, members of the selection committee of the Association of Midwest Museums, for allowing me this opportunity to celebrate this wonderful person, this wonderful leader, this amazing talent. It's a privilege to work with Samantha Sauer and to see her in action on our beloved campus. And now it's my pleasure to invite my colleague, Dr. Jenny Barker Devine, Professor of History and Department Chair, to offer remarks.
Thank you, President Farley. That was wonderful, a great introduction. And thank you to the Association of Midwest Museums for honoring Samantha as a promising leader. As President Farley told us, it's Sam's energy and enthusiasm that has transformed our campus and community for the better. And we are thankful for this opportunity today to celebrate her work. Now, for some of you here joining us today, this might be the first time that you are meeting Sam. And I hope that you walk away with a really good first impression, because that is typically what happens when she brings all of that enthusiasm and energy to the table. So I wanted to share with you a brief story of my first impression of Sam and the first time that we met, because it was immediately apparent that she was the right person to move our museum and newly renovated archive ahead into the next phase of its development. So when she arrived at Illinois College in December of 2015 for her job interview, the stakes for this position were very high, because this was the first time that Illinois College would have, in its very long history, a full-time curator and archivist. Now, Sam and I, we were scheduled to meet over lunch, but I was actually double booked that day. There was a historic house museum here in Jacksonville that was hosting a luncheon for members of the community to hear a presentation by an Illinois College student about their internship at that museum. So I asked Sam if she would mind attending that event with me, and she didn't even bat an eye, which first gave me a very good impression that she would be game for just about anything. And we had a lot of fun that afternoon. She was genuinely invested in the presentation by the Illinois College student who that summer had transcribed a cookbook from the 19th century and was presenting it to the community publicly. And then afterwards, during a social period, I noticed that she immediately clicked with community members, taking a real and genuine interest in their passion for local history. So it was clear to me then that Sam would be committed to student success and to making the Paul Findley Congressional Office Museum and the Khalaf Al Habtoor Archives the community resources that we were so hoping they could become. So working with Sam has been truly one of the most fulfilling collaborations of my career, and I am thankful every day for her leadership, and I again am thankful for this opportunity to honor her publicly. So at this time, I would like to introduce Angie Piccolo, who will be speaking to us on a pre-recorded message. And she served as the 2018 Public History Graduate Intern.
Hello, my name is Angie Piccolo, and I was the Public History Graduate Intern for Illinois College back in 2018. As the Public History Intern for IC, some of my responsibilities included guiding tours of the museum and the archives, collaborating with the museum curator to put on community events, applying best practices for processing an archival collection, and working with the IC students, staff, and volunteers to complete archive and museum projects. This position greatly prepared me for my future in the archival profession by providing a holistic experience about the museum and the archives. I gained both hands-on experience as well as an understanding of how these two unique professions operate and overlap, which has allowed me to communicate and collaborate effectively between the two. This in turn helped me to be successful in my first archives job following the IC internship. I went on to be a contract archivist for Zion National Park for 2.5 years, where I worked with both the archival and museum teams. I feel prepared to assist the archival team process archival collections, while also helping the museum team preserve their taxidermy specimens and conserve their artwork. Currently, I'm an archivist for the Los Alamos National Laboratory in Los Alamos, New Mexico, where my IC experience continues to assist me collaborate effectively with the laboratory's historians, digital archivists, librarians, scientists, and engineers. Finally, a big part of the internship was advocating not only for the archives at Illinois College, but for the archival profession as well. Sam really emphasized outreach within the IC community as well as the town of Jacksonville. I've taken this lesson with me as I now volunteer on a committee of public awareness for the Society of American Archivists, where I advocate for the archival profession and those who work within it. Overall, I'm very grateful for the opportunity to intern at Illinois College, and I'm very grateful for Sam, who is an amazing supervisor and continues to be a really important mentor to me. Sam has worked really hard to grow this program from an internship into a fellowship and continue to provide amazing opportunities for new professionals such as myself. I am very proud to have been a part of such an amazing program and community, and I'm very glad that Sam's work is being recognized. It is well deserved. Congratulations, Sam.
Okay, our next speaker that we're going to hear from is an IC alumnus, Joe Ritter, graduated in 2018 and was actually a first-year student in 2014 when the renovated archives were dedicated. So Joe, take it away.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. As Jenny mentioned, my name is Joe Ritter, graduated from Illinois College in 2018. And I'm currently working as a museum specialist at the Illinois State Military Museum in Springfield, Illinois. And it is my distinct pleasure to be able to celebrate with you all the accomplishments of my old boss, Samantha Sauer, today. Now, as a student at Illinois College, I watched Samantha transform the Khalaf Al Habtoor Archives and the Findley Congressional Office Museum from repositories of artifacts to places of student-led, community-minded projects designed to make the college's collection available not just for students, but for the Jacksonville community as a whole. Now, I had the opportunity to work with Sam when she first arrived at Illinois College in 2016, working both as a student worker in the archives during my sophomore year and at the Findley Museum my senior year, digitizing photograph and manuscript collections belonging to the Illinois College. Now, the lessons I learned under Samantha's leadership are ones that I continue to utilize today, working with the collection of the Illinois State Military Museum. But more than being just a boss, Sam also acted as a mentor for me, something I think a lot of us can agree with. She helped me apply for internships and jobs, and helped me expand my professional network in the historian community. To me, Sam exemplifies Illinois College's promise to help students graduate ready. Now, as an alumnus and as a practicing public historian, I'm proud to see that the program continues to grow and flourish under Sam's leadership. And I cannot wait to see what comes next from that program. So from the bottom of my heart, congratulations, Sam. I'm happy to be here today. This praise is well deserved. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Abby Garrett, current student at Illinois College.
Hello, everyone. My name is Abby Garrett. I use any pronouns. I'm currently a senior at Illinois College, majoring in music performance and minoring in history and interfaith studies. Since my first semester here at IC, I have been a student worker for the Khalaf Al Habtoor Archives and the Findley Congressional Office Museum. In addition, this year I am conducting independent research as a part of the Illinois College Choral Legacy Initiative, and I recently presented on my work with the Archive Your Story project and the larger oral history collection in the Khalaf Al Habtoor Archives with Sam at the Conference on Illinois History. So I've spent a lot of times in both the archive and museum and in Sam's wonderful company. In my 4 years here, working in the archives and museum has been one of my favorite, most memorable, and most rewarding experiences of my college career. Under the wonderful leadership and guidance of Sam, I have grown both academically and professionally. Not only have I learned archive and museum specific skills, but I have learned more about teamwork, community engagement and outreach, project planning, and so many other valuable skills that have transferred to my classwork and that I will continue to build upon in the future. Sam has a personality and a positive attitude that is absolutely infectious and inspires me to grow as a student and as a human. She genuinely cares about her students and the work that we all do, and she fosters a space of education, collaboration, and growth. I could not think of a more fitting person to receive this award, and I am very glad that her hard work and dedication is being recognized in this way. So again, congratulations, Sam, and thank you to the organization for presenting this award to her.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you, Abby. Thank you, Joe, Angie, virtually, Jenny, President Farley. Okay. I am very honored and just excited and humbled to be here. I'm glad I typed out some remarks ahead of time. So it's a real honor to be recognized by the Association of Midwest Museums. One of the first big museum conferences I went to was through AMM, and I remember it was in Madison, and I remember being struck by just the energy and seeing so many different institutions represented by colleagues, institutions big and small. And rather than be overly intimidated, it was a little intimidating at first, I felt more awe and energized. And I felt feeling right at home. And this feeling has persisted even when I've lived outside the Midwest. And it's just a truly special and incredible network of colleagues and institutions and resources. So I very much appreciate it. I'd like to thank everyone who's gathered and shared part of their time this afternoon or virtually via the recording. I'd like to thank my colleagues and mentors, past and present, as well as my friends and family, especially my husband, for just all of their good support and energy. I would also like to thank the nominators who were involved with this process, from the campus, the local community, and the region, for sharing their words of encouragement and support. And I'd also like to just thank my good colleagues, Melissa Pantier and Rebecca Houston, for their energies and encouragement leading up to this afternoon specifically, but also in general. And of course, I'd like to thank my team as a whole at Illinois College. I'm just so proud to work with you and collaborate with you and to learn from you. To my colleagues who just shared this afternoon, President Farley, thank you for sharing those words. Your support and encouragement just means the world to me and my team. I consider myself very lucky to look and learn from you as a leader within campus, but within our campus community. Dr. Jenny Barker Devine, thank you for your words and energies this afternoon and for serving as a leader within the Department of History, Philosophy, Political Science, and Religion, as well as for being an exceptional mentor and colleague. So much of what I have been called to do for our campus and community is made possible thanks to you and your energies and tireless drive and dedication and your commitment to not only doing good history, but supporting our students as emerging experts. Angie, thank you for sharing virtually. Since 2016, watching the public history graduate program evolve into our full-time fellowship has been very rewarding. I'm incredibly proud of all of the participants within this program, including our current public history fellow, Madison Pearson. And Angie's work and dedication from 2018 made a significant impact then, but it continues to today. Just seeing traces of her good energy and public history work is just continuously impressive. Joe, thank you for sharing those kind words. I was looking back on pictures the other day and just seeing both how the spaces have evolved and working with you as one of our first students within the renovated archives and museum. It's just, I'm so proud of you, and I feel so honored to be a small chapter in your story. So I just can't wait to see what you do next. And Abby, it means so much to have you here as one of our current students, especially as one of our current students, because so much of what we are called to do is to set our students up for success for today and tomorrow. And I'm just incredibly proud to have you on our team now. But I also just can't wait to see what you do moving ahead. So thank you. It's appropriate that there's a current student who's able to join us this afternoon because again, the Museum and Archives at Illinois College serve as true student-centered facilities to engage the campus and engage the community as learning laboratories. And I'm excited to have an opportunity to share with you briefly a little bit about what we're able to do with our team here at the Museum and Archives shortly. Now, while both the Museum and Archives are relatively new campus and community resources and student-driven facilities, they each reflect years and years of dedication and drive and energy by so many different supporters and stakeholders, past and present. I'm honored and proud to serve as the first professional in institutional history to direct the day-to-day operations and long-term strategic planning of the museum and the archives to support our campus, the campus community, but also engage local and global scholars. But I build upon the good work of many, including 2 previous part-time curators with the museum, and I stand on the shoulders of so many different committed stakeholders, educators, historians, alumni, and friends who have made the campus archives possible after nearly 200 years in the making. The success of the Museum and Archives today is reflective of so many different collaborations on and off campus. And I have the privilege to work with and collaborate and lead many of these collaborations, including meaningful work with my colleagues across the faculty, including within the history program, but also working very meaningfully with colleagues across campus in different departments, including our public safety and facilities management teams, our information technology, our Office of Development and Alumni Relations, the Center for Academic Excellence, and many more. It has been and continues to be an honor to serve in this capacity and to mindfully, collaboratively lead, to do so much good work and to look ahead to all the good work that will be continued. To help give you a better sense of Illinois College and the Findley Congressional Office Museum and the Khalaf Al Habtoor Archives, I'm excited to share some very short video clips this afternoon with you, which Charity will help facilitate through the wonders of technology shortly. So Charity, whenever you are ready. Illinois College is located in Jacksonville, Illinois. It's the oldest degree granting school in the state, founded in 1829. Located about 30 miles west of Springfield, the state capital, the school is a private liberal arts college with an enrollment of about 1,100. It is a truly beautiful campus. The college is home to a historic New England-inspired Upper Quad, hearkening to our roots, connected with Yale University, that includes buildings that date back to the very beginning of the school's history, including Beecher Hall, named for Edward Beecher, the college's first president and brother to Harriet Beecher Stowe. Illinois College's rich history is just one part of its ongoing story, however. We look to the past to inform our present as well as to the future. The residential campus features state-of-the-art facilities and resources designed to support our students and scholars of today and tomorrow. The vision of Illinois College is to build an international reputation for inspiring achievement and empowering our students to make a difference in the world. To do so, the mission of the college is to develop in our students qualities of mind and character needed for fulfilling leadership and service with the highest standards of scholarship and integrity within and abroad terms. This is an incredibly exciting time to be part of the Illinois College campus community. Illinois College is also home to the Findley Congressional Office Museum, located in historic Whipple Hall. Established in 2011, the mission of the Findley Museum is to collect, preserve, and share the life, work, and enduring legacy of the late U.S. Congressman Paul Findley. Mr. Findley was a 1943 graduate of Illinois College and went on to represent the 20th District of Illinois in the U.S. House of Representatives from 1961 to 1983. Today, the museum serves as an active learning laboratory for IC students to conduct hands-on interdisciplinary research, enriching the curriculum across programs and disciplines, and supporting an active student work program, internships, student faculty research, and more. The museum hosts undergraduate classes, including IC students designing exhibits, public history and museum studies courses, as well as local K-12 students and visiting scholars and visitors. The museum's collection contains material related to Findley's career, his interest in Abraham Lincoln, and his involvement in the quest for universal human rights and justice in the Middle East. Artifacts on display in the museum's gallery include Abraham Lincoln's 1837 Law Office sofa, Findley's own Congressional Office desk, material from Findley's service during World War II, and documentation of his campaigns with a focus on agriculture and famine prevention, as well as his efforts to foster international diplomacy and bridge building as a global citizen. A champion for his state, region, and the global community, Mr. Findley was a lifelong supporter of Illinois College, and today the museum continues that legacy of supporting the campus and the campus community. Illinois College is home as well to the Khalaf Al Habtoor Archives. Established in 2014, thanks to a National Endowment for the Humanities Challenge grant and generous support from donors, the primary purpose of the archives is to collect, preserve, and make accessible records about Illinois College and the Illinois College campus community. The collections reflect the rich campus and campus community history, as well as special collections. And thanks to the NEH grant, this new campus community facility includes a dedicated storage area, a reading and research room, state-of-the-art technology and environmental controls, offices, classroom, and workspace. The Archives is a hands-on hub of history and interdisciplinary research designed to engage and support students and visiting public and scholars, K-12 students, and visiting researchers with documents, artifacts, and more. The Archives is named for Dr. Khalaf Al Habtoor, a generous donor and good friend at Illinois College, and the late Congressman Findley.
Archives is a dedicated learning laboratory. Our focus is on student-centered scholarship, research, and initiatives. The Archive supports student faculty research, welcoming classes from across the curriculum, programs, majors, and hosts on-site and virtual classes and educational workshops. This is an exciting time for our historic campus collections, and as a new facility, much good work has been done, and there is much good work to be done. In boxes and unsealed envelopes, and discovering new stories that can connect our campus with our collections, from our past to our present. Our future. Excellent. The videos all worked. Thank you, Charity. And thanks to my good colleagues at Illinois College, Brian Lettern and Alexia Helmer for helping bring these materials together to help share and lift up a little bit about our Illinois College community with you this afternoon. So I have a very brief slideshow I'll share just to talk a little bit about the archives and museum before we have some time to gather. It was very difficult to choose a couple of examples to share this afternoon. I am incredibly proud of all of the good work and energy from our team here at Illinois College. These two examples seek to illustrate how I collaboratively work with my team, utilizing strategic project design to meet the departmental needs, the distinct departmental needs of the museum and the archives, as well as uphold our broader institutional mission and vision while supporting our students and implementing best practices in the care, management, preservation, and interpretation of our historic campus collections. I'd like to first acknowledge that I am honored to be a steward of our campus stories, and part of that process allowed me to be incredibly fortunate where my time here at Illinois College overlapped with the late U.S. Congressman Paul Findley. The photo on the left is of Mr. Findley and myself back in early 2016. And I feel that the 4 years where I was able to work with him and get to know him uniquely enriched my life professionally as well as personally. And as part of the process, I was also able to know and connect with the former part-time curators of the museum, including the late Bob Church and Dr. Claire Jerry. As a steward of stories, I believe in the power of our campus collections to connect audiences of all ages and to serve to deepen and foster understanding by cultivating connections and community. Here are just a couple of photos of some of our student team members over time. This includes student staff as well as specialized positions such as project interns, senior curatorial assistants, as well as our graduate intern and our fellowship program. Much good work has been done by this team, and it is because of this team that I get to share some time virtually with you. I'm incredibly proud of all of them. So here on the screen are just a few more images from the museum gallery, as well as an external view of historic Whipple Hall and a photo of the late Congressman Findley. These photos help very briefly show how this space benefits not only the campus, but also the local community and K-12 school groups. The first example I'll briefly share was the Findley Interfaith Initiative, which asked the big question, how did Findley's IC experience prepare him for life and work as a global citizen and bridge builder? This project was made possible thanks to a campus innovation grant that my colleague, Dr. Timothy McGee, and I received, and involved two key student stakeholders who served as student scholars and student leaders with this hands-on scholarship initiative. And in the bottom left is a great photograph of the late Mr. Findley as a college student when he was here at Illinois College. So this project lasted 3 semesters, beginning in fall 2019, continuing into spring 2020 with a pause due to COVID, but continued into fall 20.
Very briefly, Kaylee on the top left and Asia on the top right really demonstrate both the incredible passion and dedication of our students, but also the interdisciplinary methodologies possible with our campus collections. Neither of these two students selected from a competitive campus process had a history academic background. There was a degree of experience doing historical research, but this project was really new in many ways. So some of the outcomes of this project that benefited the students, the museum, the archives, and the college include a new collection that the students selected and curated, increased access with the digital collection made possible available to local and the public scholars. That's pictured on the bottom left. The students also planned and implemented a virtual public program. And so during this 3-semester long initiative, the two students gained and refined skills with hybrid interdisciplinary research. So some of it was done digitally, some of it was done on site, as well as record and artifact handling, communication, and project management. And the photographs on the screen are from fall 2020. So this is during a period of increased limitation with contact. So that's why the students are wearing nitrile gloves and handling the scrapbooks. But it's a great testimony to their dedication to the project that we were able to continue it moving ahead. Really briefly, at the top of the screen, you can see a taste of all the different campus collaborators that came to be during this project because of the many different points of contact throughout the project and different partnerships possible. This project has resulted in many ongoing takeaways and products, and it's really exciting to see how these continue to unfold. Importantly, this project from the museum helps demonstrate, again, some short and long-term strategic planning that meets the needs of both a given semester or academic year, but also complements long-term interpretive and preservation planning with the museum's collection and institutional needs. And it's been very exciting to see how some of those outcomes evolve. So one of the outcomes I'll just point to briefly is that there was an increase in campus and community awareness about the museum, as well as the possibility to do more student-centered and student-led scholarship with this type of initiative. Importantly, evaluative data from several of the events and programs that this initiative hosted yielded that many students and campus community members felt an increased sense of connection with the campus and with collections. By learning through Mr. Findley's own experience as an IC student, they had a renewed and different sense of connection with the campus themselves, which was really powerful to see. The second example I'll briefly highlight this afternoon is archives-based. And so again, we have a few different photographs on the screen that illustrate how this is an active learning laboratory with both the campus as well as community members, and a photo of Dr. Al Habtoor pictured on screen as well. So the big idea with this initiative was to identify and address missing materials or gaps in historic student organization records, specifically looking at historically underrepresented groups such as the Black Student Union or BSU. And this project was also made possible thanks to a grant from the Interfaith Youth Corps, and again, called upon the successful formula of having 2 student scholars and student leaders really become active stakeholders and serve as emerging experts in pushing that scholarship ahead. This initiative took place in the 2020-2021 academic year. And again, the products continue to evolve and unfold, including presentations, expanded intellectual and physical control of our holdings. As a young archives, this is an exciting time period to learn more about who we are institutionally, as well as what we have that documents our campus and campus community story. And this project, again, met some short-term as well as long-term departmental and institutional needs. Again, Tarina Clemens is pictured on the top left and McKenna Service on the top right. The students had a background in political science and history, but did not come to this initiative with specific institutional hands-on history experience. So this program or this project yielded a lot of really exciting educational outcomes in addition to departmental needs as well. So this included new departmental inventories, as well as collaborative workflow sheets. It increased our our departmental access to materials, but also public access to materials that were not previously as available. Additionally, the students led campus outreach and community programming to increase awareness and advocacy of this project, and gained lots of different transferable and applicable skills, both to this initiative as well as other academic possibilities. At the top of the screen, I have another list of those different campus and campus community partners that the specific initiative called upon, just to show that important overlapping of different campus energies and resources that make so much of this possible. This project continues to evolve and develop, including some ongoing programming, new digital collections, and continued student faculty research, which is just really exciting to see happen. The students and our entire team feel very empowered with all of these different types of projects. And again, it was very difficult to select just these two to lift up this afternoon. The last slide here is an overhead view of Illinois College from 1947. And I thought I'd share this photograph because it's almost 75 years old. And Illinois College and the world has changed a lot. And Mr. Findley once said in an interview, quote, that with the passage of time, world conditions have changed and so have my views. And that quotation really speaks to me in terms of him as a person, as a politician, but also as a leader that I continue to look to. And so looking at Illinois College and our campus community from 75 years ago, it's really exciting to think about our history and our stories, but also, what we might look like in the future, in the next 75 years. So I like this photograph for a lot of reasons, but I think it just speaks to the promise and potential that we can continue to build with. So with that, I will stop sharing my screen and I guess open it up to questions or sharing, but it's just so good to see all of your faces now. So thank you.
Thank you, Samantha, for the tour. And for sharing all of the projects. Wow. I mean, we knew about a little bit of that in the nomination process, but is anybody else's mind blown by all that you've done and the team has done? I saw a question come through in the chat. We do have time for a couple questions, and luckily the question there is also one that's on my mind. I heard through the planning process for this event that you have been involved with another museum in a totally different role that just opened. And it looks like it's the Jacksonville Area Museum, as Melissa pointed out. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your involvement and about this museum?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Yeah, the Jacksonville Area Museum is a new building that houses a collection that's been in different walls or without walls for quite some time, but I've been honored to serve on a city-appointed board since 2016 to help interpret and preserve stories of the Jacksonville area. And so it's been a real privilege to get to know different community members involved with this important community project, but also to share, some of our ideas and resources and really collaborate together. It's been really exciting to see so many of our Illinois College students work with this institution through a class, through assignments, through projects. And then it recently opened up in September of this year, and it's just been wonderful to see that process happen, especially as the city of Jacksonville approaches its upcoming bicentennial. So both Jacksonville and Illinois College have a rich history that's connected through the ages, and it's a real privilege to be involved with the community museum as well.
Awesome, because you needed more projects, right?
It's great. There's so many stories, so to be able to, in a small way, be part of sharing them is a real honor.
Well, that's great, Samantha. I've got sort of two somewhat related questions as my sort of wrap up for you. And I think it's important, we're recognizing you as a promising leader, not just, in your community, but in the museum profession here. And I think it's always nice to kind of reflect on some things that have surprised you or that you've learned. So my first question is, as you think about back on the projects and programs and laboratories that you've worked with students on, what has surprised you? You can name one thing about working with students, about collaborating with students in these projects. What's one thing that surprised you?
It's a good big question, Charity. I think I'm just always continuously struck by just the different energy and experiences and insights that all of our students bring to different projects. They bring just incredible talents already to our classroom here at Illinois College. But one thing I'm just continuously struck with awe by is just seeing each semester that growth and seeing how perhaps in a small way these hands-on initiatives that will have a long-term institutional component for the institution, but for the students it's maybe like 8 weeks of their life or one class. It's just very powerful to see that change and to help watch them grow and to hopefully be a positive part of it.
That's great. Okay, my final questions might be a little bit tougher than that one. What's one thing that you've learned about yourself and your leadership at Illinois College?
I have learned that I don't know much about a lot of things. I've learned that there's so many. I'm surrounded by all these incredible experts and dedicated professionals, and just individuals who are just top notch in their field. And so I often I learned so much going to meetings, and so recognizing that there are all these different perspectives and how we can kind of really take those different interdisciplinary lenses and skill sets and experiences to move forward together. I think I kind of knew that before coming to Illinois College to a degree, but coming to a campus that is rooted in this liberal arts interdisciplinary atmosphere and seeing the collegial nature of how so many different departments and people and projects can come together, it's really inspiring. So I feel very lucky that I get to be part of the team.
I'm going to agree with Jennifer in the chat here that from what everyone else has said on here, Samantha, you are also an expert in your area as well. And I would also say, I feel like this is something we're hearing a lot of in our conference this week. You are definitely a humble leader. And by that, I don't just mean that you are personally humble, but you kind of enter every new relationship and project ready to learn and humble yourself for that learning. And I think that that's really outstanding. It's something that we can all learn from. So it's been an absolute pleasure to get to know you a lot more today and through this process and planning your awards event. I congratulate you again and invite everybody to unmute one more time for a round of applause. Please cheer loudly for Samantha and the team at Illinois College. Congratulations, Samantha.
Thank you. I'm just honored to see so many good folks and faces. So thank you again.
You're welcome. And before we go, Common, would you like to offer any final remarks?
Yes. Thank you so much, Charity. And I just want to conclude with, I think we all agree through listening to the wonderful speeches, that you have given and that others have given. The award committee definitely made the right choice and the good choice of selecting you as our leadership award winner. So yes, that's it's wonderful, and we really are very appreciative to hear all the great things that you're doing, and we can't wait to hear more because this is only the beginning. And maybe in another 10 years or so we can have you, or 20 years we can have you as the career award winner. But yes, I want to thank you again. And more importantly, I also want to thank Charity for her organization and planning this. Well, obviously, as we all know, this conference wouldn't be going as smoothly without her. But definitely for tonight, we know that she has put a lot of hard work in organizing all these special virtual celebrations. So thank you, Charity. And again, thank you for the team in Illinois College, and congratulations again, Samantha.
Thanks, Common. These awards events are easy because they're so much fun. It's fun to celebrate, especially people like you, Samantha. Mm-hmm. Well, I want to thank everyone who joined us today. We've reached the end of our program. I do ask that our Illinois College team members, and Common and Eli. If you could stay on for just a couple minutes after for a quick photo op at the end, I'd love to be able to grab a picture. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening.